Okay, today we're going to go over the language areas and the cerebral hemispheres. So your brain has an assortment of association areas, which are areas inside of each lobe of the cortex that are responsible for coordinating and interpreting information. They help people make sense of incoming sensory information, and today we're going to focus on the language areas. First, we're going to look at Broca's area in the left frontal lobe, and it is dedicated to the production of speech. It was discovered by Paul Broca as he was studying damage to this area, and damage to the Broca's area is called Broca's aphasia. Broca's aphasia is a condition where the affected person is unable to speak fluently, to pronounce words properly, and to speak without hesitation. They know what they want to say, but they struggle to physically produce the words. Next, we have Wernicke's area. This is an area in the left temporal lobe that is dedicated to understanding the meaning of words. It was discovered by Carl Wernicke while he was studying under Paul Broca, and he was also looking at damage to the area. Damage to Wernicke's area leads to Wernicke's aphasia, which is a condition where a person is still able to speak fluently and say words properly, but there's no meaning to what they say. There would be no meaningful language coming out. Think of Broca as broken speech, and Wernicke starts with a W, so does what, as in doesn't make sense. Now, the cerebral hemispheres. So the left hemisphere focuses on language, speech, handwriting, calculation like math, sense of time, and sense of rhythm. Basically, any kind of thought process that requires analysis. The left hemisphere processes information in a sequence, and it's good at breaking things down into smaller pieces. The right hemisphere specializes in widespread processing. This involves perception, visualization, spatial perception, recognition of patterns, faces, emotions, melodies, and the expression of emotions. The right hemisphere processes all information at once and simultaneously. Now, just to spoil the myth, no person is right-brained or left-brained because the two sides work so closely together through the corpus callosum that even the smallest task requires input from both the left and right hemispheres. However, the two hemispheres do differentiate on how they perceive information and the type of information they perceive. For example, if you were to come up on an old friend, your right hemisphere would recognize their face, while your left hemisphere would recall their name. And that is an overview on the language areas and the cerebral hemispheres. If you have any questions or comments, drop them below. Bye!